Right, tap! Right. Caravana! Order! Hunt! Caravana! Silent! Hunt!
Representatives from East Paradise, governors and representatives from West Paradise, governors and representatives from Solomon Islands, heads of tribal governments, chief governor, prime minister of Papua Mekamui, district governor, General Peter, chief administrator and finance minister of Shame, prime minister, representatives of Mekamui national government, representatives of President John Momis, delegates of the now expired autonomous Bougainville government, Pastor Andrew Mandan and the great team delegation, ministers of the Crown, Papara and Mekamui, Governor of Central Bank, Deputy Governor, bankers of the Crown, of the High Priest, Emperor Range, of King Upeii, Samir, of the Chief Governor for Buka, North Bougainville, Simeon Russia, Area Prophet Aaron Samuel Tuto, and Priest David Kripasi, New Heaven, New Earth, and Universal Body of Christ, commanders and soldiers of the Crown, Papala UVISTRACT workforce, heads of divisions, teachers, doctors, nurses, sisters, farm workers, carpenters, electricians, construction workers, contractors, etc., etc. Ramapo traditional government, chiefs, elders, and leaders, graduating attendants, representatives from North, Central, and South, Bougainville, Papua New Guinea, and Solomon Islands. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so great again to gather here today for our second graduation ceremony. Last week, on 30th Amethyst of June, we had our first graduation ceremony. But before we go into our actual graduation program, let me explain that today, 8th of Jasper or July, is our UVISTRACT Investments 22nd anniversary or birthday. It was on this day, 8th of July 1998, that I practically commenced collecting funds from my family members, friends, and schoolmates on the streets of Port Moresby. We have been celebrating the anniversary for 21 or 22 years now. The first and second graduations. Our first graduation last week was excellent. Our second graduation today will be better. Our first graduation ceremony saw less than 15 members of my family graduate. Our second graduation ceremony will see more than 50 people graduate today. Our graduation today is mainly for my Wantok from CY and Bougainville, especially those who have sacrificed their land, the rivers, the creeks, the forests, seas, etc., to let the new system establish itself here in Tonu, CY, and Bougainville. The second graduation ceremony will see more than 50 people graduate today. Our graduation today is mainly for my Wantok from CY and Bougainville, especially those who have sacrificed their land, the rivers, the creeks, the forests, seas, etc., to let the new system establish itself here in Tonu, CY, and Bougainville. Other leaders from North, Central, and South are also included. Our third graduation ceremony will be held on Wednesday or Friday morning, 10th of Jasper this week. Depending on the situation, the ceremony might see more than 100 people graduating in person. Our fourth graduation ceremony is scheduled for Monday, 13th of Jasper, July next week, and will be for other clients or investors who also sacrifice the time and resources to support the system here too. Again, depending on the situation, the ceremony might see up to 500 people graduating in person. Our fifth, sixth, and seventh graduation ceremonies will be organized during the remaining balance of our 40 days program. And you all know that our 40 days program officially terminates on 16th of August. The last week's graduation. Last week's graduation has rocked the world. Pictures, videos, and media information were distributed around the world, and the response received from every country was amazing. They all said something like, the whole world has been caught up in the coronavirus pandemic, economic crisis, and all kinds of tribulations. The only place on earth where something new, something refreshing, and something sweet is happening is there in your own island of Bougainville. Fellows, ladies and gentlemen, I reiterate that the only place on the planet where something different and refreshing is happening within the period of the coronavirus pandemic and global economic crisis is right here in Tonu City, Bougainville, Melanesia, and Pacific. And you are the pioneers of it. The answer to the whole world is here. The solution to the global economic crisis is here. The answer to the coronavirus pandemic is here. The abundant funds the whole world needs for its conservation, preservation, and restoration is here. We have everything available that will transform the world upside down and downside up. And I'm glad to be graduating its pioneers at the appointed time. In the last 2,000 years, the timeline of the world, according to the Bible, is only about 6,000 years old or young from the Garden of Eden. There are countless interpretations from various angles. I've studied most of it, if not all of them. I will not get into all the differing presentations as I don't have time for it. I only wanted to state that the last 2,000 years since the coming of the firstborn Emmanuel to Israel has seen a drastic transformation of the world. In a matter of only 2,000 years, the whole world was transformed upside down and downside up from paganism into Christianity, first through the Roman Empire and secondly through the Western Empire. We here in Melanesia and Pacific are mere recipients of the spores of the colonial powers. The powers came upon us with all the good things and all the bad things alike. One of the good things the colonial powers gave us was the Bible. Under Judaism, the Bible was kept in papyrus scrolls and was reserved for a few chosen ones to read and explain to the masses. Under Christianity, the Bible was printed in abundance and made available to the masses to read and understand for themselves. So whether or not the Bible is made available to a few chosen ones or to everyone alike does not really change anything. The Bible remains the same with varying editions and interpretations. What then is the Bible? The Bible we received through our colonizers came from Israel, a kingdom nation that was chosen by God to reestablish and to restore the theocratic kingdom of heaven here on earth, just as it was originally in the Garden of Eden. Israel was chosen to be the firstborn kingdom nation, where everywhere in the Bible you can read how the firstborn of both man and beast was or is to be consecrated, initiated, or set aside for God. Even when the firstborn Emmanuel came 2,000 years ago, he had to be birthed as the firstborn in the natural, not as the lastborn. He was referred to as the firstborn of creation as well as firstborn from the dead. Secondly, Israel was chosen to be a patrilineal society. Papa, Mama. Everything including land ownership, family inheritance, power, and leadership passed from father to son, not from mother to daughter. You can see how a patrilineal society, Papa, Mama. Everything including land ownership, family inheritance, power, and leadership passed from father to son, not from mother to daughter. You can see how democratic kingdom nations of Israel and of here from the natural and cultural angles. Most times we only see things from the spiritual angle and disregard anything to do with our cultures, clans, family trees, etc. As I always say, the mysteries of God overrides everything that happens in the universe. Also, every interpretation of man is subject to the master plan, the mysteries, and the omniscience of God. And as a covenant man, I'm so privileged to have direct access to the mysteries of God, enabling me to understand why things happen this way and not that way, etc. For example, here in Melanesia and South Pacific, we have both patrilineal and matrilineal societies. The PNG Highlands, for instance, is mostly patrilineal, while those in the islands region are mostly matrilineal. Here in Bougainville Upeii, we are mostly matrilineal. According to history passed on to me from our elders, the Millionaires only became patrilineal recently, about 500 or so years ago, because of an epidemic that took place about that time. However, originally the whole island was matrilineal. Everything passed from mother to daughter. Women had ownership and inheritance, while men had power and leadership. It was a shared responsibility. Again, I'm outlining these cultural differences for a purpose. First of all, it's important to know that our God and our Creator is forever fair and just to His children. There is no unfairness in Him. He Himself created both patrilineal and matrilineal societies. He made Israel patrilineal and made Ophir, Bougainville, Mekamui matrilineal. Some time ago, one of my governors from PNG mentioned to me that since Israel was patrilineal and that the Bible was all about a patriarchal society, we should all become patrilineal as well. He seemed to look down on himself because he comes from a matrilineal society similar to ours here in Bougainville Ophir. I responded telling him that God is a fair God. He is both father and mother as well. Here in our matrilineal society, we share responsibilities and leadership equally. We share responsibilities equally. Women have ownership and inheritance, while men has power and leadership. There is equal and fair distribution of responsibilities, unlike that of Israel, where everything belongs to men and nothing to women. You see, under Judaism, God was establishing His theocratic kingdom in a patrilineal society. Also, 2,000 years ago, the firstborn Emmanuel was birthed into the same patrilineal society. And 2,000 years later today, God is establishing His theocratic kingdom in a matrilineal society because He is a fair and just God. He is both father and mother as well. He has to be fair and just to His children because He created both patrilineal and matrilineal societies. Of course, when it comes to spiritual matters, there's no difference between patrilineal and matrilineal societies. These things only concern us when we dig into our physical and our cultural societies. And I'm only mentioning these things because it was an issue raised by one of my governors from PNG, which I needed to address. The firstborn versus lastborn. For some time now, I've endeavored to explain the mystery of relationship differences and similarities between the firstborn and the lastborn. I also explained how in the Bible and the covenant and kingdom always belong to the lastborn. I explained how Cain was jealous of the younger brother Abel and killed him, and how God replaced Abel with Seth, etc. I also outlined how the covenant kept transferring from the lastborn to the next lastborn to the next lastborn, etc. through Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, etc. until it reached Saul, who became the first king of Israel as the lastborn of the lastborn of the lastborn of the lastborn. Now, everyone here in Tonu knows that according to my family tree, I'm the very lastborn of the lastborn of the lastborn of the lastborn of the lastborn for 14 generations. Now, biblically speaking, the firstborn has natural inheritance, while the lastborn has covenantal inheritance. The firstborn has natural blessings, while the lastborn has covenantal blessings. The firstborn is the heir to the throne, while the lastborn is the covenantal heir to the throne. The firstborn has natural ability, while the lastborn has covenantal ability. The firstborn is from a patrilineal society, while the lastborn is from a matrilineal society. The firstborn owns everything, while the lastborn has double portion of everything. The firstborn came 2,000 years ago, while the lastborn is here now 2,000 years later. The firstborn was mocked, ridiculed, and crucified on an old Roman cross, while the lastborn was also mocked, ridiculed, and crucified on the old Western cross of the tribunal of public opinion. The firstborn shed his precious blood to save the world, while the lastborn also shed his precious blood to save the world. The firstborn came to die and save the world, while the lastborn came to live and save the world. The firstborn was a pokeka, while the lastborn was also a pokeka. Ask the Siwa what a pokeka is, and they'll explain it to you. The further remarks. I have made the above remarks in an attempt to explain some mysteries of the kingdom that you might not be aware of. If you don't understand them at this time, do not worry, just move on. Or if they contradict your particular religious beliefs and doctrines, don't just don't worry, just move on. We have all kinds of people, races, religions, churches, countries, kingdoms, mindsets, languages, etc., in the system. Most of them are only here for money and don't have any clue about the mysteries of the kingdom. These are just some of my many infallible mysteries, laws, concepts, and principles I stand on to do my work in my capacity as king. As I always say, the only way to defeat the enemy is through the mysteries of God. There is no other way around. You all know that Bougainville Now, before we move to the UC Hall to conduct the actual graduation ceremony, let me just express my joy again regarding our BBK trades here in Tonu City. This is our third month of trading, and things are always moving from strength to strength and victory to victory. All our critics are surprisingly confused. They cannot understand how our currency can trade without fail, even before the arrival of our externally convertible currency. They cannot understand how and where our World Bank gets its foreign currency from to convert and to exchange to or from our local currency on a continuation and ongoing basis, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. They forget that UVISTRACT is a complete universal system of its own. It has no loopholes, no empty spaces, no void. This system is well able to provide abundance to our citizens, clients, investors, etc. without fail forever. Local economy, as explained in a couple of my recent speeches, after completing our sovereign monetary system, our next task or responsibility is to finance our economy. That is exactly what we are doing right now, financing our rice projects, cocoa and copra downstream processing projects, businesses, and so on. Now, foreign currency exchanges. It has come to my notice that a lot of our people came with a lot of foreign currency, PNG, and want to exchange them into BBK so they can buy things at our BBK markets and shops. At the moment, foreign currency exchanges are only done here at the World Bank. Our IBOM and community banks can also exchange your foreign currency, PNG, into BBK or vice versa. However, the bulk of foreign currency exchanges are presently only done here at our Royal World Bank. Therefore, if you have a bulk of foreign currency notes, feel free to make appointments and bring them to the World Bank for conversion. We will give you a very good exchange rate, and your name will be registered for any future prospects and benefits. Now, you all know that Bougainville is the only legal tender currency here in Tonu City. You also know that our ABC has already expired on 15 June last month. Therefore, you can be rest assured that very soon, BBK will become the only legal tender currency throughout Bougainville. The Papua New Guinea kina you are keeping in your suitcases is a foreign currency that is in the process of leaving our shores. It will be here on Bougainville. It won't be here on Bougainville anymore. We have already begun removing it from our city and now working around the clock to remove it from the whole island forever. Help us remove it so we can all enjoy our freedom, independence, and sovereignty together forever. Now, in fact, by the end of our 40 days, 40 nights program that begins today, we should have already removed PNG Kina from our midst and replaced it fully with our own currency, BBK. Plans are already in place to bring our externally convertible currency home during our 40 days and nights celebrations. It shall definitely be so. Now, documentary funds. If you have read the information document we distributed explaining our graduation ceremonies, you would have seen that graduation applicants who paid 100 kina will be given 1,000 kina worth of vouchers, and those who paid 1,000 kina will be given 10,000 kina worth of vouchers and spend the money. The project will be activated and introduced today after our graduation ceremony. I have already given the vouchers and bank checks to our IBOM bank manager, Albert Kubiraki, to handle the project. I'm sure our bankers will be ready to issue their vouchers to our graduates starting tomorrow morning. With the vouchers, you can do any number of financial transactions at the bank or open new accounts and deposit funds into your account, or invest in various bank products like IBDs, treasury bills, forex, MasterCards, gold cards, etc., etc. You can also purchase some stuff at our shops and trade stores, etc. Of course, these shops, trade stores, or business houses have their own conditions and limitations, restrictions, etc. you have to abide by. Know that this is an opportunity to sort out all your banking queries while you have the opportunity. Use your documentary funds, vouchers, and checkbooks to sort out all your banking queries after your graduation today and the coming days. This is the beginning of utilizing documentary funds in our system. Here too, we've been mainly using BBK hard cash in our business transactions, but from now onwards, we can look forward to using all kinds of documentary funds like bank checks, personal checks, corporate checks, vouchers, etc. All our documentary funds are compatible, convertible, and transferable. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my speech today will be very short and brief. Again, because we have the main graduation ceremony to be done shortly hereafter at the UC Hall. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to the graduation in the next hour from now. My very final comment for now is to let you know that we will soon be seeing a high-powered government delegation from PNG and Solomon Islands coming to Tonu City on a familiarization visit, and arrangements are already in place for them to come anytime between the 8th of Jasper today and the 16th of Sophia within the 14-day ceremony. They are coming for one reason, and you know that, and that is we will repay their debts to the World Bank, IMF. And I will furnish you the travel details when all is confirmed. Other governments are also making similar arrangements, but due to the coronavirus pandemic travel restrictions, we cannot really confirm their visits as yet. Now, finally, please understand that all Bougainville is now moving in unity. Since ABG expires on 15th June, all Bougainville must now begin to work in unity. Although we have had our differences in the past 15 years of ABG, we must now endeavor to suppress all unnecessary political divisions and infighting amongst ourselves. All sides have worked hard within the mysteries of God and together have won the battle. ABC has done its part, Mekamwe too has done its part. We are all one now, working around the clock to arise as one only powerful, sovereign kingdom nation on earth. Thank you very much.